I'm proud of you, son. I want everyone to realize out there who's listening here, I'm proud of you, son, is one of the most powerful ways that when a male who has gone through that deficit, and Abdul Haq, your deficit, I totally look, I grew up in South London. I saw it with my black brothers and sisters and friends out there who were in single parent families. I saw it. And people thought we came from Pakistani families which had that stable family structure, but there was other deficits in ours. And Abdul Rahim talks about the deficit in his head, maybe the stoicism of that stiff upper lip of upper middle class white society. Yeah, all of us have got deficits here. Let's be absolutely clear. Okay, all of us, because of that deficit, then that created a vulnerability for the desperate need that we had for a compassionate father figure. And when we find the right mentor and the right person who fulfills that in a holistic way, in a just way, that's brilliant. I'm afraid it's not there at the moment, and so therefore it's being filled in the most dysfunctional of ways. There were two really interesting pieces of parenting advice that I received from actually non-Muslims over the years, and I remember the first time when I was expecting my first child, 26 years ago, Maria. Big shout out to Maria. And I'm really proud of all my kids. My kids have surpassed me in so many ways, alhamdulillah, which is exactly how I wanted it to be. Yeah. And I remember talking to my professor back then. I was working at Leeds University then, and he told me, they put it in the most simplest way. Yeah. He says, I'm not going to use the words he used. He says, you haven't got an F clue what it's going to be like. Read all the books in the world, do all the research in the world. It's a complete, and what it always resonated with me because it's a minefield. And Abdurrahim's right. You can do everything right, but you can't control all of the variables. And so because you can't control all of the variables, sometimes something happens. So the second quote I always loved in parenting was this: you only hold on to your children by not holding on to your children. But if you truly model exemplary and noble characteristics and you are congruent with them, your children will always model that behavior. By Allah's grace, I always say this: I never, ever in 30 years ever told my children to pray, ever. But they all pray, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, why? I never had to tell them to do anything. I said it's only because of trying to model certain behavior that they model certain behavior. And this comes onto parenting styles a bit later on, yeah. But you're right, it is an absolute minefield out there. It is really a challenging role, and it's never being made. Fatherhood at the moment is not being made easy at all. I always like this quote as from a guy called Frank Pittman. He goes something like this: fatherhood is not something perfect men do. So we can't perfect this role, believe me, but it's something that perfects the man.